Hi guys, in the last videos we started a subject of narcissistic abuse. Actually, I referred to it as a narcissistic trauma, but it's nothing but abuse. So let's call everything with its names. And in those previous videos we started the subject of narcissistic abuse and actually how you can recognize that in you, how it will be expressed exactly in you, what it will be for you, and that type of abuse, that type of narcissistic trauma, and how it will be reflected exactly on you and your behavior is very confusing, and you can easily confuse it with actually being a narcissist. So you would be able to assume that you are a narcissist. You are actually a narcissist. You have narcissistic traits. You are behaving like a narcissist, and you might get all those concerns that, oh my God, I have all this, so maybe I am a narcissist. But if you watch those videos, you understood that actually it's not about you being a narcissist. It's more likely about you having a narcissistic trauma after being under any kind of a narcissistic abuse. And the main reason why it's more likely is because if you would be a narcissist, you wouldn't be watching all these videos, you wouldn't be having all these questions in your head, and you wouldn't be having all these concerns like oh my God, maybe I'm a narcissist, maybe those that I'm in the relationships with are struggling with me. No, being a narcissist, you wouldn't even think about that, because being a narcissist, you would be thinking, what? If you dealt with narcissists, you know what they would be thinking. They would be thinking that this is something wrong with them, something wrong is with their head, it's all in their head, like if we are talking about gaslighting, right? And so on. So if you have concerns, if you being a narcissist, you are already not a narcissist, period. And in that previous video we discussed a narcissistic trauma of a compensatory way. So that narcissistic trauma that is trying to overcompensate the feeling that you actually have inside of you after being under this abuse. And exactly there, please watch those videos. I will leave them for you in the description box below. And talking about everything down there below, please subscribe to this channel not to miss all these precious videos that I will keep recording for you. Put like to this video so YouTube algorithm will start noticing them. And let's continue. So we were talking about previous videos that I recommended for you to watch, and I will leave them for you in the description box below. So in those videos I explained how these mechanics work. I explained that after this abuse you have these two polarities, and in the case of this compensatory way of narcissistic trauma, you will try to overcompensate this polarity of you being terrible and ugly and the worst person in the world, this polarity of nullity, when you are nobody, when you are nothing, and you have this another polarity which will be overcompensating this one. So polarity of being the most successful person in the world, the most beautiful one, smart, sharp, and all about that. So in the compensatory way of trauma, you will try to overcompensate this your feeling of nullity, this your feeling of being nothing, of being the worst, by demonstrating and showing off, like really trying hard to show off that you are exactly the opposite. So you will try to overcompensate the way you feel there. And in those videos I already recommended what to do about that. So now we are talking about different type of narcissistic trauma, actually more, I would say, dramatic way of a narcissistic trauma, more sad way of narcissistic trauma, and this is a narcissistic trauma of defeated way. So this is a narcissistic trauma when you've been in this abuse, when you've been abused by a narcissist. And talking about that, not necessarily only the narcissist. It can be anybody. It can be psychopath, sociopath. It can be anybody abusive. It could be any relationships that actually emotionally traumatized you. It could be any emotionally traumatizing relationships. So you got out of those relationships. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you did. Maybe you're still there. And instead of doing all these overcompensations that we discussed in the previous videos, you are just staying in this polarity where you are nullity, where you are nothing, where you are nobody, when you are not worth even to talk to, when you are not worth to have any relationships with you, and you are so terrible and you have so much of everything intolerable in you that you are hiding from society. You have so much of shame in you about yourself that you are afraid to show yourself who you really are to anybody. And all this makes you completely shut down from the society to avoid all social contacts. You have this permanent feeling of inferiority, that you are simply having some kind of a defect in you that nobody should see. And when they will be able to see it, they will again mistreat you, they will again humiliate you, they will again embarrass you the way that narcissist did to you. It can easily be called PTSD after narcissistic relationships, because it will have all the symptoms of PTSD. You will have exact same feelings with you the way you felt in these relationships. You will feel exactly the way this person who abused you made you feel. But narcissistic people, they know how to make you feel miserable, they know how to mistreat you, they know how to make sure that you believe that you are the way they show to you. Why they behave that way, I'm talking about narcissists, we can do another video. Just write down below in the comments if you are interested about that. We can talk more and more about that, about why narcissists are behaving that way, why they mistreat those that are around them, and why they cannot behave in a different way, how they hang their projections on other people, pretty much projections of themselves, and then they start mistreat other people for actually their own traits that they projected on them. So if you are interested to talk more about that, please comment down below and we will do that video. Now we continue talking about you being a victim of this person, being a victim of this narcissist who made you feel that way. And what I just said, he made you feel that way not even for being who you are, but for projecting his own traits that he cannot tolerate in himself on you and mistreating you for them. But this is completely different story. Right here and right now, when you struggle with this narcissistic trauma, it doesn't help you to feel better. Because if in that compensatory way of narcissistic trauma, when people are trying hard to be on the opposite polarity, to show that they're more than they are, they at least get some kind of benefits from that. At least they get some kind of, I would say, pain relief every time when they can do that, when they can achieve that point, when they get this admiration for this show off that they could do, when they tried so hard to post some successful pictures and they get plenty of likes for that, or they get some admiring comments, and they get this feeling of excellence, this feeling of excellence that gives them the painkiller for that pain, for actually feeling in the polarity where they feel completely worthless. But in this defeated way of narcissistic trauma, you don't have those painkillers, and you are just staying in this terrible polarity when you are permanently feel that you are not worth to be with. And if somebody will see who you really are, they again will mistreat you and humiliate you and defeat you the way the narcissist did. And that's why you are avoiding people, you are avoiding any close contacts, regardless that you have those emotional needs. You really want to be around people, you really want this emotional closure, you really want to laugh, you really want to go out, you really want to interact with people, you want to have friends, you want these friends to want to be your friends, you want to hang out, you want to have fun, you want to meet somebody, to be in romantic relationships, you want to build these relationships again. But you are in a cage. You simply cannot let it happen because you are afraid, and you are in a cage. You don't feel that you're worth it. You don't feel that you deserve it. You feel that you completely an outsider of this life, and you cannot let it happen to get out of this cage where you are. And even if somebody trying to build any connection with you, any relationships with you, if they're trying to be your friend, or they are trying to show that they like you, you simply don't believe that it can be true. You simply understand that they probably didn't see me yet. When they will get close to me, they will see how I really am. They will see how I really am, and they will get disappointed, and then they will either leave me, or they will start embarrassing me and mistreating me and humiliating me the way this narcissist did. And this is why you're avoiding any kind of close contacts, even if they initiate them. Basically, it's called counterdependency after narcissistic abuse. I will also do a separate video if you are interested, so please again write down below in the comments. So this defeated way of narcissistic trauma, it's a terrible feeling. It's a real PTSD. You can have all symptoms of depression, and you really can have depression as well. You might have anxieties, you might have bad sleep, you might have all kinds of symptoms that you can only imagine. But all that is only because of this abuse that you've been through. So it's basically, you can call it PTSD, but there is a way to deal with that. And in the next video we will talk about what you can do to fix it yourself. Yes, you can do it, and I will show you how. So stay tuned. Again, subscribe to this channel not to miss any new videos, as you see they're precious. And see you in the next video, where we will talk exactly about what to do with this defeated way of narcissistic trauma. See you there.